Hello and welcome to BQ Primo. Very good morning to all the viewers. I am Hiral Dadia. Clearly, if you see in terms of markets, the pressure does continue. We did see a positive opening, but now we've turned into the negative, trading pretty much close to the 18,600 levels as we speak. We hit a low of 18,607 in trade today. Bank Nifty, however, has been in the positive, gains of 0.3% coming in there, and the advanced decline ratio as well with regards to Bank Nifty is pretty much in favor of the bulls. Joining us on the show is Narendra Solanki, Head Fundamental Research at Investment Services, Anand Rathi, joining in. Narendra, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Hiral.
Narendra, let's start with IEX. Clearly, second consecutive session where the stock has been trading under pressure, and this is on the back of the circular that has come in where the development that we are picking up so far is where the Power Ministry has directed the CERC to undertake the process of consultation and implementation of market coupling in a timely manner. Now, clearly, what this is indicating is that IEX will lose its pricing power, number one. And number two, the market share is something that will be impacted, taking into consideration that there are three energy exchanges so far. What's your view and how are you what are you making of this development so far?
Definitely, on the face of it, this circular is negative for the company because if you see the real concept behind the mechanism, so this mechanism, if you want to study it, then it is implemented in European markets. So there, if you see the overall, it is called price coupling of regions. So the basic aim is to have an algorithm of price discovery in such a way that all the regions get equitable access. Firstly, second, the pricing should be reasonable, and third would be the transparency. So what happens is that what IEX is doing, so this role would be bifurcated into two or three different steps. So one would be market coupling operators, then there would be transmission system operators, and then security corporations. So under this new mechanism which is being proposed, so all the data would be gathered by a central agency wherein all the secrecy would be maintained for individual operators as well as transmission systems, and then the bids will be aggregated at separate area, and then it would be matched, and then it would be passed on to the exchanges. So in order to ensure the transparency of the algorithm and equitable distribution, so this mechanism is being right now in discussion in scopes, and it is already implemented in Europe. So definitely there should be having an impact. However, what kind of impact it would be there, and how the market and the industry, all the exchanges plays this out, it would remain to be seen. But definitely there would be an impact post this implementation.
Narendra, one thing I want to check with you is now, one is the implication with regards to an exchange. The second thing that comes up is as to what could be the impact overall if you're taking into consideration the power sellers, right? From a buyer perspective, if you talk about the discoms, yes, there could be lower bids that could be put in terms of the purchases. But from a selling perspective, do you think it'll have any impact on the generators?
See, the basic mechanism of PCR is to ensure all the players in the current exchange would have an equitable and fair share of distribution in terms of their incentives. So this mechanism actually prevents any untoward mismatch because of some short-term fluctuation in the market. So in this mechanism, what happens is that the bidders and the sellers remains anonymous. So you don't know which region is bidding what, and which is the generator which is trying to sell it. So under this new this new mechanism, this kind of transparency would be maintained, and it would be, and all the data would be residing in a separate server which is away from the exchanges. So exchanges would only act as a transaction kind of a platform.
Right. So that's with regards to where, overall move goes in terms of the movement that we're seeing in terms of IEX. Another stock that's in focus today, which did see a good move, is IRB. Now, clearly, their May toll collections have seen a growth of almost 20% on a year-on-year basis. What's your view on IRB?
See, If you see the overall infrastructure space is definitely looking good to us, and the kind of progress we have seen and the in the bidding which we have seen in the last quarter of Jan to March quarter, so that has been very good. And the toll is also a benefactor in this, and the recent additions to this project. So the company is really outlook is really bright, and uh, 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 investors could continue to remain in this stock.
Right. So that's with regards to where IRB is concerned. Moving on, a few other names that are moving in trade. You have a Hero Moto as well, Narendra, that is in focus. What's your view? Because clearly, if you see in terms of the two-wheeler sales data, that have been pretty encouraging. There is a pickup that we are seeing in demand. How are you looking at a Hero Moto?
See, definitely, the past few months data is very encouraging. And in this pack, if you see overall auto pack, what we have seen in last couple of quarters is that the more rural-based demand was not coming in, and the two-wheelers especially faced headwinds regarding that. But in recent months, the data has been pretty encouraging. And even if you see the commentary by the management, wherein they are uh, expected to launch largest number of new models, so the new launches would be definitely an encouraging part, and that would definitely attract the markets. And if you see the EV portfolio, so they are also targeting large growth in terms of their EV portfolio. So both these new uh, uh, this could provide the tailwinds to the company, and it looks decently placed right now for a medium term position.
Right, so that's with regards to Hero Moto. Coming to Sona BLW, clearly, it's been pretty mixed for them because from a market perspective, we did see a good move coming in on the back of the MSCI inclusion. But after that, we did see a block deal that happened on a Sona BLW. But from a fundamental perspective, how are you looking at the counter?
See, earlier the company was purely focused on commercial vehicles segment in terms of providing EV solutions, but now the company has gradually been adding passenger vehicle segment as well. The company already added 12 new EV programs and 7 new EV customers in the year just financial year 23, and the number of total awarded programs are 42. So the almost half of the programs are still in the pipeline. So we expect a significant ramp up in revenues from the EV space in next 2 years. So the stock is really in a very interesting turnaround phase, and it's trading at very good levels. We have a target of around 680 for the company.
Right. Gujarat Fluoro is another one which has been in focus. Now, clearly, if you see in terms of the chemical companies as well, investors have made good returns and they've actually been multi-bagger returns in this entire space so far. Uh, how are you looking at a Gujarat Fluoro if you have to look from a valuation perspective? Do you think that the rally has plateaued or is it still a good time to enter this counter?
See, this stock is a very interesting. It's operating in a very interesting and niche market, which is the fluoropolymers and fluorochemicals. So the company has been a leader in this pack, and the company has envisaged around 1,500 crores of capex, and the both the forward integration and backward integration players are operating in this company. And in terms of backward integration, the company is the lowest cost producer, and in terms of forward integration, the company is going to foray into battery chemicals business. So both this provides a good long-term growth for the company, and the kind of niche this company is operating is very difficult for other players to enter into it, because there are a lot of entry barriers. In terms of capacity additions as well as in terms of complexity to produce these kind of specialty polymers. So we continue to see a long runway for the growth of the company, and we have a target from 4,000 rupees for this stock.
Right. So that's with regards to where uh, fluoro is concerned. UPL is another one that is in focus. Now, Narendra, overall, the Q4 numbers were pretty much disappointing for UPL. In fact, a lot of analysts have gone ahead and warned of near-term challenges that could be coming in on this name. Uh, how are you looking at the company from the current market perspective?
See, right now we think the worst is behind this company, and at most in the current quarter we can see some kind of a sluggish, but after that the company's business should improve, as we can see gradually the lot of inventory has been cleared out of the markets, and now the demand is coming back in the stock. Also, if you see the guidance provided by the management, they have guided around a growth of between 6 to 10% and improvement in EBITDA margins. Also, if one aspect which is also you should note is that the company is reducing its net debt position as well. So, from a balance sheet perspective, also the balance sheet is also gradually strengthening, and we continue to expect that uh, we should see a turnaround in this stock from medium term perspective.
Right. So, medium term perspective is what should be looked at with regards to where UPL goes. Polymedicure, that's another stock to focus on. Clearly, if you see in terms of the stock price performance, today is seeing some gains of around 1%. Again, in the last 6 months, we've seen a return of around 8 to 9%. So, it's been a slightly volatile ride. They're launching dialysis machines as well. And this is something, in terms of venturing into a critical care business that we're looking at for this company. What would this mean? And do valuations actually warrant a purchase for the investors at current levels?
Yeah, definitely. This company is into a specialized product segment, as well as it is entering into a medical devices segment also. If you see the recent announcement by the government of India on the new medical devices policy, there is a PLI scheme which was announced, and the company has already got the approval and is one of the front runners in order to get benefit out of it. And the company has planned a capex of around 175 to 200 crore for the current year, and this would be towards the PLI scheme and its businesses for renal and diagnostic space both. So we definitely see good growth prospects for the company, and we expect around a CAGR of 20% for the next 2 years. The company could report growth in the revenues, and we have a target of 1154 in the stock.
Right. So that's with regards to polymedicure. What's the story brewing in terms of polycab, Narendra? You have a positive view on that counter as well.
See, this company is operating into FMEG space, and it is set to deliver good growth in FY24 in both cables and wire segments. We expect higher margins in this, and it aims to target a revenue of around 20,000 crore by FY26. And it has launched, to achieve this, it has launched a project LEAP. And if you calculate, this comes at a CAGR of 12%. So this is definitely good space, and it's a growing space. And we have a target of around 3600. So you can have it from a medium to long term perspective.
Right. So that's a view coming in terms of polycab as well. So overall, if you go to see clearly a lot of stock specific action is what we're seeing in terms of markets. Greenlam Industries is another one which is seeing gains of 6.5%. But thank you, Narendra, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views. Clearly, there is pressure that is building in overall in terms of market. Sugar counters are seeing some smart moves, and this is on the back of the US sugar futures, which have seen some major up move in today's session. Apart from that, Gateway Distripark is another one. In fact, the logistic companies have been in focus as well. Jindal Poly is down in trade after seeing a good up move in yesterday's session. Maharashtra Bank is trading under pressure. Minda Corp is another one which is trading under pressure as well. So clearly, a lot of movers and shakers in trade. We will be speaking to the managements of a lot of companies like Dollar Industries next is lined up to help us understand as to how is the demand and supply panning out in the innerwear industry, and with that, how is competition from new players from the e-commerce place impacting them. In fact, we will be speaking to the management of IEX as well to give you an update as to how the Power Ministry circular to CERC in terms of the announcements that have come in will impact the company as well. So lots more lined up on BQ Prime. Please stay tuned.